Here we go, and I'm so excited about this video and this series. This is going to be really, really awesome, probably the best content we've ever done. So just a quick disclaimer, if you're like an elitist weirdo whose entire self-worth is built into this game, this is where you get off. If you want to, pick up a few tips, tricks to get through Unlimited easier, whether you're experienced, whether you're new, whatever, I'm going to break down every trick and every sort of tip that I can give you to get through Unlimited and get the card on the screen and any future cards. So this video we're going to cover the timing. That's what we're going to talk about. But we've got the squads coming up tomorrow. Then we've got sort of offensive settings, defensive settings, loads of stuff. So if you want to catch all of that stuff, this is a great time to drop a sub. I'll give you 2 seconds to do that. Thanks for doing that. All right, let's get back into it. I'll show you my record at the moment, just as a disclaimer that this stuff does work. We were 47 and 11. Since then, we've gone on a 26 game win streak, including getting Iggy. We might go 12-0 again, actually. Anyway, this series is going to break down a variety of different things. We're going to talk about squads, things like settings, and some stuff that no one has ever really spoken about before, which I think are probably some of the most important things to help you go 12-0. Now, this whole season is geared towards being an average player. And I am an average player, make no mistake about it. If I loaded in with my main squad all the time, I could go 12-0, but I wouldn't have done it this easily, and it's just a lot less likely that it would even happen, to be honest. So we're in a really good place, and there's reasons for it. Tomorrow, I'm going to drop the second part of this series, which is going to be the squad to use, and we're going to break down various overalls and the effect it can have. Now, just to be really clear from the start, none of this guarantees wins. It doesn't matter how you approach this. There's going to be difficult games, and you need to be relatively good at the game to go 12-0. Whether it doesn't matter what strategy you're running, what overall you're running, what tactics, what settings. None of it matters because you are going to lose games. You can see here we lost 11 games on our run. This isn't foolproof, but it will give you a much better chance. And even if you don't go 12-0 at the end of it, you might get a couple of tiers higher than you would have done anyway. So that's our goal. So as I said, tomorrow we're going to talk about the squads and the different teams that are used. We're going to break all that down and you can see what the best fit for you is. But for today, we're going to talk about something that's brand new and exclusively the reason that I went 12-0 this season. It is literally the only reason and the only difference between this season and last season where I didn't. So let me give you a little bit of history so you can understand where I'm coming from when I explain it. First season on 2K21, I didn't really play Unlimited. I played 6 games total. I felt a bit weird, didn't want to play it. I don't know why. It just was what it was. So I didn't really play many games in the first season. In the second season, I started playing 2 weeks before the end of the season. I got to Galaxy Opal tier, but I dropped down and up a few times. I was just bouncing around. It just wasn't working. But I realised something in that second season that led to this video and also led to me going 12-0 this season. And as I said, we're on a 26-0 run now. Last season, I was doing really well. I got to the Galaxy Opal tier on a 20-plus game win streak. We cleared Pink Diamond tier 11-0. There's your example, okay? And I think we cleared the tier before it 10-0 as well. So we were doing really well. And then something happened which completely derailed me. So what we're going to talk about is timing. There is a good time to play Unlimited, and there is a really bad time to be jumping on this game mode. And that's relevant to the day, the week, and the season, right? So different points in the day, different points in the week, different points in the season. And I'm going to break them all down. So when I talk about last season, there was one specific reason I didn't go 12-0. It's the only reason. So because I started quite late in the season, I was on a really good run, and I always wait. So it was strategic to wait last season. I didn't want to jump into it straight away. I didn't want to play in the first 2 weeks really, because the Super Sweats are going to be on early in the season. They're going to be looking to get that badge of honor as quick as they can. The good thing is, once they've got it, they're out. They get off the game mode, so you're just less likely to run into them. So trying to go 12-0 in the first week or two is really tough. Now, we actually did it, I think, two and a half weeks probably into the season, and I was ticking up the tiers as we went. But if you look at this, if you look at my record, those 11 losses all happened in the first sort of 10 days, and we didn't lose a game since. The reason is I was running into those Super Sweats. Now, last season I waited strategically, but it was a bad move because something happened that I didn't expect to happen. So we were on a good run. I was confident of getting to Galaxy Opal tier. It was really evident to me that the sort of Super Sweats weren't on the game as much, and I was getting good matchups and winning relatively comfortably. And then they dropped the XP agenda for Chris Mullin. The 20 wins you needed on Unlimited, right, to get that card, meant every sweat in the game jumped straight back onto Unlimited, both for the XP and to get Chris Mullin, which was a really hot card at the time. So I was now in the Galaxy Opal tier when all of this happened, and it just ruined me. Like, it ruined me. I went on like an 8-8 run. Like, every sweat got back on, and it just became impossible. So my first bit of advice is, if you're going to chase Unlimited, now that we know that that's happening, you've got a window. What's good is the remain tiers are lower now, so you don't need to worry as much about dropping down tiers, so you can play early. But if you get sort of into the pink diamond tier within sort of 3 or 4 days, my advice is to chill for a week. Like, at that point, wait. Because you're probably not going to get the 11 wins unless you're exceptional at this game at that point, because you're just going to run into people who are going 12-0, because they haven't done it yet, right? Once they've done it, they'll stop. The second thing is, the other window is you need to do it before the XP agenda drops for Unlimited. Now, this season, they've already dropped the TTO and TT offline ones. So we know Unlimited is probably next. I think it's going to drop in the next week or so. The minute it drops, this is going to get tougher. And it will get tougher for a period of time, and then that will stop, right? They'll all jump back on again, they'll get their 20 wins, and then they'll leave. But when that XP drops for maybe 4 to 5 days, it's going to be just as tough as it was on day 1 of the season. So you've got to pick your timing carefully. My advice is right now, like, we're sort of 24 days from the end of the season, and we're probably 5 days away from, you know, the Unlimited XP. If you haven't got Unlimited done, the next 5 days are a really, really good window to do that. So now we've broken down the season, we'll talk about the week. So those 11 losses I've had all have one thing in common, and a lot of the 73 wins that we've had also have something in common. That is, the 11 losses that we suffered all happened on weekdays. Now, you're probably thinking that's a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. There is a reason for it. Actually, there's a few reasons for it. The weekdays, like, let's say up until sort of 5, 6 o'clock in your local sort of time. I play on the EU server, so we've got like almost a 4-hour crossover, you know, through Europe. So it could be 10 o'clock here and 4 o'clock somewhere else. But if I play what would be sort of during work hours, right, like before 6 o'clock, I'm way, way more likely to run into a tough game. The reason for that is there's people sitting at home playing the game. It's not a casual player, right? It's not someone who just jumps on in the evening. It's not someone who jumps on at the weekend. They tend to be people sitting at home all day playing this game. The most likely time you're going to run into them is during the day when everyone else is either at work or at school or whatever. If you jump on the game when your casual players have finished school, finished work, whatever, then you're really lowering your risk of running into that super sweat, because they're probably still playing in the evening, to be honest. But when you're looking for matchups, you're just not likely to run into that 1 or 2 people. Like, if you look at next gen as an example, it's so hard to find a game, right? You know, I'm not on next gen yet, but everyone I speak to, that is the case. On current gen, it's instant, right? You will find a game instantly, and if the only people that are on at that time are super sweaty people, then that's what you're going to run into. So you need to time it, and then there's a window at the end of the day as well. Once it gets to sort of 10, 11 o'clock, and again, with the EU, you have to think about what time it is in other countries. You know, if it's 3 o'clock in the morning in Madrid, or, you know, in Greece or whatever, you know, that's going to be a sweaty time for us to play, even if it's 10, 11 o'clock here. You've got to think of the timing, because at the middle of the night, again, who's going to be online? It's not going to be your casual player. It's not someone who's going to be going to school, going to work the next day, etc. It's going to be that guy who stays up all night, plays 2K, and then probably goes to bed at 2 o'clock in the afternoon so he can get up and do it all again. The window for Unlimited really is just the evening. That's when you want to jump on it. And outside of the evening, it's weekends. And weekends are good for a couple of reasons. The first reason is everything I just said, right? Casual players play 2K at the weekend predominantly, right? Again, the sweats will still be on. Again, if you time it all right, they probably would have finished Unlimited, so they'll be less likely to be on anyway. But the weekend is definitely the time where all casuals will play. Everyone's off work, school, etc., right? Makes sense. The second reason, and I hate to say this because it is a bit of an exploit, but Limited plays into the weekend. People go on Limited, and it's the competition level on Limited is so much lower than Unlimited, right? Unlimited is just a sweaty mode. It's what it is. Limited, by design, is a casual mode. It's not a dig, it just is. But you do see it at the weekend. Like, someone's probably had a little bit of luck on Limited. They've got the ring. And they suddenly, you know, get fired up and go, right, this is the time. I've won 3 games on limited, so I'm going to go on to unlimited. And obviously they jump onto unlimited and it's just a minefield of these sort of sweaty elite players. If you're relatively good at the game, you will get wins at the weekend beating these people who are playing limited and jumping into unlimited. They're not natural unlimited players, and the competition level is just 2 worlds apart. It is completely different. So the combination of, like, you know, people having finished the game mode already, the people that are not sweaty sitting at home all day playing the game, and then people who are just kind of trying unlimited rather than, you know, focusing on it in as game mode. The weekend is the time you will find those people again and again and again. Now, it's really vital that I don't understate all of this, because I've covered everything, but it really needs to land. Everything that's coming up in the next few episodes, which will drop over the next few days, obviously drop a sub to make sure you catch those videos and you see the actual tactics I use to get through this. But none of it matters unless you kind of focus on this information. It is the only difference between me going 12-0 last season and this season. I didn't do it last season because of the timing issues. I kept playing during the day. We were in lockdown, so I was playing during the day, which was a bad idea. I was playing late at night because I was up all night. And, you know, the XP challenges dropped at the worst possible time. And it just screwed me, to be honest. I couldn't do it. Like I said, this whole series is how an average player goes 12-0. I'm an average player, so I'm not going to go 12-0 when every super sweat elite player, 250k guy is on the game, you know, running into me, you know, every other game. It's just not going to happen. So I changed the timing this season. I thought about it last season. I was like, that didn't work. I gave up, you know, sort of 6 or 7 days before the end of the season. And I was like, listen, I'm just going to make a clean start next season. But I had a clear goal of how I was going to approach it, what the window was. To the extent that, you know, I was 3-0 in Galaxy Opal last Sunday. And I hadn't got Iggy yet, so that was my first run on the Galaxy Opal tier. And I really, really didn't want to play Unlimited. But I was like, do you know what? It has to be now. It's Sunday, the TTO XP had started dropping. I was like, it could be this week when the Unlimited XP drops. It's probably going to be a pink diamond card. Think about that as well, because Chris Mullin was a diamond last season and he was a 94 overall. I was like, if I take so long that I run into that XP challenge, I won't go 12-0, and I probably wouldn't have done. I probably would have had to wait another week and then try again, and I would have taken L's the whole week while that reward was out. So it really was a difference. I really didn't want to play that day, but I just did it. I played 9 games back to back. I won them all relatively comfortably, and I came out of it with Andre Iguodala. So this stuff is super important. It's super, super important. It's vital, in fact, to an average player going 12-0. So that's everything for this episode. Like I said, we've got squads dropping tomorrow. That's going to be, you know, a really important video to see how you can get an edge, get better matchups and things like that. Then we've got tactics coming in, settings, and really the most important thing about settings, which I'm going to talk about, is not to have one set of settings, you know, to have variety and use what works for you. We're going to look at different overalls. I'm going to talk you through some of the matchups I've got using different overalls. It's going to be super interesting. And I'm really confident that whoever watches this series will have a better run on Unlimited. I really do believe that if you do all these things, because these are the things that have got me there. And I just have to keep saying it. I'm not great at the game. So if this stuff does help you, please drop a like. Please drop a sub. We're a new channel. Please spread the word. I'd really appreciate it. So until the next video, squads are incoming. Thanks for watching, guys.